Y'all, I just recorded like a 20-minute video on this topic and then I deleted it because I'm going to try to make this short and simple for you. When it comes to defense and, survival in general, one of the main keys that we have to keep in mind is being situationally aware. Yes, all the other things come into play, and I am going to talk about all of those other things, but I'm going to focus on survival comes from observation. Here's why. What's up, everyone? Morgan here. So when I say that survival comes from observation, let's take a look at the past. How are we learning to find an animal so that we can hunt it and eat it? We look for footprints. We can look for scat. We can look for game trails. We can spot and stalk. Stalk and spot. We can do various things, right? We can see the scrapings on a tree. Really depending on the type of animal you're trying to hunt, these are things that we are observing about nature so that we may have a successful hunt. Now, sometimes you just know, like you've come across a spot where you're like, yes, this is a big open field. I've seen a lot of deer here. Great. But it's because you've observed that. It's because you have learned, hey, deer are going to be here because of this. One of the best ways that we can continue on with our life is to be observant. How are people acting? How do they look? Where are the emergency exits? How is just the general weather, right? Is it going to be too snowy to go drive or too icy or whatever the case may be, right? What else can we observe? We can observe everything. We need to get off our phones. We need to, out in public, obviously keep watching my video. Don't get off your phone yet. But we need to make sure that we are as alert and aware of what is going on. Now, of course, there's always going to be distractions. Like, you're going to be talking to your kids, your spouse, or like you're going to be looking at labels at the grocery store, or you're going to be looking at clothes, or whatever these case may be. But you can always be on alert, okay? You can be in situation yellow pretty much all the time. And you could be observant of people around you. We were at a store recently, and there was one of the employees following us around. Me, my husband, and my 2 kids. I know we look like criminals, right? Maybe my husband with a beard, but I live in Alaska. Literally everyone has a beard. Okay, so anyway, I know we all look super sketchy. I know, so I get it why they were following us around, but I noticed them pretty much right away that they were following us. Because even though we were wandering the store and looking at things and I was talking to my kids, my eyes are always scanning, right? It's called keeping your head on a swivel. You're not being paranoid about it, but you're, keeping your head on that swivel. A lot of people, your house is your safety zone, right? Like, I feel super comfortable here. I feel very safe. The other day, one of the motion cameras went off and I saw somebody just walking around the house. And I grabbed one of my firearms and I went out the back and I said, hello, what are you doing? And they were like, oh, we're from the city and we're just taking pictures, we're the inspectors and blah, blah, blah. Any problems with the house? And I was like, no. And I just stared at them. I was so angry that they just had the balls to come onto my property, regardless of who you are. I don't care who you are. You have the balls to come up onto my property without even speaking to me first, without making an appointment, calling, whatever, and then just like, no, like this is completely unacceptable behavior. And so I sat there and I just stared at them with my firearm. They could see it. And I just stared at them as they left. And they took pictures, and I'm probably in their pictures, but I don't care. I just stared at them until they left. Wildly inappropriate of them. You guys may be thinking it's wildly inappropriate of me to be carrying a gun, but I have a right to defend myself. I had no idea who those people are. Okay, so another thing is, a lot of people don't want to be rude. You can be rude. It's okay. If somebody comes to your door and you don't answer the door, oh well, right? Unless you're expecting somebody like a friend or family member, there is no reason I should ever be opening my door for anybody, okay? You don't have to have a Ring doorbell or anything like that, but I mean, if somebody knocks on your door or rings your doorbell, you do not have to answer it. You don't even have to speak through the door, nothing. You don't have to do anything. You can just not answer it, right? Even if they know you're home, who cares, right? Who cares? If that door opens, they have access to your home, period. You know, that's one more way for them to easily access your home. You don't ever want to make yourself a soft target. So if you stay aware, keep your head up and head on a swivel, and just generally avoid bad places and bad situations. And sometimes you may not know that it's a bad place or a bad situation until you get there. So you need to trust your gut. Your gut, right? Your gut. Your instincts is also what it's called, okay? So many people just ignore it because it's like, oh, there's peer pressure, or like, oh, I just want to go have fun or whatever. Don't ignore it. Please don't ignore it. And this is especially important, like if you see somebody like following you around in the store or something, you're like, oh, they're just, shopping like I am. No, it's not a coincidence, okay? There are very few coincidences in this world, all right? It is not a coincidence that somebody's following you around a store. If you feel uncomfortable in any way, you could acknowledge their presence and say, hey, stop following me, or you can continue to hold your head up high, be observant, stare them in the eyes, do all these things. And also, if you're alone, get help from other people within the store. Say, hey, I feel uncomfortable. I need help, walking to my car, please. Please walk me to my car. That makes you a harder target. There's safety in numbers. This is literally a fact. Somebody does not want to attack somebody else or take advantage of someone else when they're in multiples, right? So when people are looking for soft targets, they're looking for people who are not paying attention, who are like slouching, who are, in a daze, or, any of these things, who are basically just not paying attention. They're not observant. There's also the step after situational awareness, or let's say you've done everything you can with observation, situational awareness, and now it's coming down to avoidance, de-escalation, and even if it comes down to it, defending yourself. These are all 4 keys in safety and security, whether you're at home or whether you're out and about or driving or whatever the case may be, everything in life. And this is not to say you have to be paranoid 24/7. This is just to say that we need to take our safety and security seriously. Very quick story. This actually told me a lot about how I'm in situation white, even at home. We should be in situation yellow, where we're always pretty observant, knowing what's going on, paying attention to noises and sights and smells and whatever the case may be. But I was in the backyard with my kids, and my husband had come home, and I guess my back was to the fence and the door, and all of a sudden he just came up. And I did not hear him. I don't know what I was doing. I was so focused on something else. And this is why it's so important to get off your phone. Don't be reading in public. Yes, we are always kind of distracted in public, like we're looking at clothes or, reading labels in a grocery store, talking to our significant other people, but we can still be looking around. We can still kind of have our head on a swivel. We can still be doing all of these things. That really woke me up. I was like, wow, I had no idea you were here. If that was somebody else, you just snuck up on me, and that didn't make me feel good. So if that has ever happened to you, I think you know that feeling, and that made me do a whole 180 and like self-realization of like how I carry myself and stuff like that, even at home. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, but stay aware, stay situationally observant, and be ready to avoid, de-escalate, or to defend, whatever the case may be. But be sure to check out the other videos in this 30 Days of Survival. Thank you all so much for watching Conquer Tomorrow by Preparing Today, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.